It all started in 2017, I think, Shmuel. And Shmuel called me one day, and he said, Chaim, we knew each other from Los Angeles when I was a bacher in the yeshiva. Shmuel was one of the balabatim, And he said, I'm living now in Beit Shemesh. I remember hearing, I said to him, Beit Shemesh, I didn't know, I knew Yerushalayim, Tel Aviv, Yerushalayim. Beit Shemesh, what's Beit Shemesh? Oh, he said Beit Shemesh, okay. And he said that Garnishti he's here and he says this place is so ripe for chassidus. I remember that's what Shmuel said. He said, it's so ripe for chassidus. So he said, would you have time, be able to help with this? I said, let's see. So I came down in August, I remember. It was so hot here that Shabbos. I stayed with Shmuel, I forget how long, for a week or so, whatever. Gave me a room, took care, it was wonderful. And he said, meet some of the Rabbonim here. You come to a place, me out there, who are you? So I went around, and I always repeat this, l'schus nishmasai, because he was taka a special yid, Rabbi Malinowitz, Chaim Malinowitz, very special Jew. Wasn't a chassid. He was such a special Jew. And I went to him, and I said, I'm here, we're starting Kollel for Chassidus. He said, great! And Mamish, great! From where I'm coming from in Brooklyn, and, the whole scene over there, Muncie and Lakewood, and the way we grew up, is unfortunately, divisiveness. This one says this, that one says this. I don't have to tell you about. But, Litvax, Chassidim, Snagdim, the whole thing. Anyway, so such a yid that I heard he was the chief editor of the Schottenstein, the Shas. I thought I would just say, thank you very much. Like I had an experience with Shabbos. I was in the shul. I don't want to say with shul. Beautiful davening, nice davening. I said it was my shver's yard site, Reb Chaim Serebranski's yard site Friday. I said 10th yards. I said, can I say a short word? Just he says in his nice English, British English. He said, no, I can't. No, we don't do that here. Okay, no problem. But Milinowitz didn't say that. He said, sure. He says, and you're going to speak between Mincha and Ma'ariv on Shabbos. So I remember walking for Shmuel's house. That time he was on the main road over here. I forget what it's called. That building.
Donna, right?
Yeah, and walking up. Oh, it was 95 degrees in there. And I was I wasn't carrying, you understand? I didn't want to carry. Yeah. Meanwhile, as I'm walking up, I see in the park playing a mother, a daughter, and a girl. No one else is out. It's 95 degrees outside. And she says to me, oh, you're a Chabadnik, the daughter said, yeah. She says, you should know I'm here because of Chabad in Cleveland. That's why I'm here. I didn't marry, Chabad, and we're not keeping Chabad. That's why I'm here today. You should just know. And she told me Rabbi Alevsky and the whole story. Okay. Then I make it up. Oh, she had some water. She said, would you like some water? I said, please, I'd like some water. I crawled up the steps. I made it finally. The window was a shul. Mincha ends. There's about 70, 80 people in shul. He gives a patch on the stand, the beam, whatever. He says, Rabbi Sai, stand in your places. No one is to leave.
No, they all go home for Shalosh Shudas. They all go home.
They're all going to go home. Yeah. The Rav said, and to his greatness and to everyone, no one walked out. The Rav said, they all stood in their place. He quoted a Gemara in Beit. The Gemara says, if God forbid you leave, davening for tefillah and then Shemesh, whatever, learning Torah, and the Gemara says a very severe thing. If you do that, it's bad stuff, okay? And he quotes the Lubavitcher would quote the Gemara, or quote it halfway, And Berlin was quoted it, and he basically was telling everyone, you stay here if you know what's good for you. And they stayed there. And then he said like this, he said, when Rabbi Dalfin asked me to say a few words, I said to myself the following, he says, and I said, yes. And he says, you're probably wondering why, he's talking to this shul, Litfox, whatever. He says, I'll tell you why. He says, I had 3 teachers. One was Reb Abba Berman, who was a mirror Talmud Emir and came to Shanghai and then to Muncie, and he had a yeshiva for Mitsuyanim, and Reb Mlin being one of them, He was my Rosh Yeshiva in Gemara. Then I had a Rosh Yeshiva for Halacha, Reb Moshe Feinstein. Reb Moshe Feinstein, the Poisek Ador, he was a student of his, I guess, at some point, or he took an apprenticeship with him. And then he says, and this is where I almost fell down and had a heart attack. He says, and then I had a Rebbe for Hashkafa. He didn't say Chassidus, he didn't say, was it for Hashkafa? And the Rebbe was Rabbi Yoel Kahn. I couldn't believe it. How does this Rabbi Melinowitz know about Rabbi Yoel Kahn? And he's a Talmud Chacham, everything, but he's not a Chassid. And he says, let me tell you something, my dear congregants. He says that when I was by Rabbi Berman, he said we could learn how to shir after 9:30, not in the middle of Seder. We can go and learn Chassidus. And I learned with him for 4 years. Tanya. And Rabbi Yoel would come to Muncie to give a shir 8 o'clock in the evening. The shir would finish 9:30. Then he would stay till 10 and start another shir for us, because we weren't allowed to have go to the shir at 8:39. So he stayed from 10 to 12, and I attended 4 years, and he's my teacher. So he said, I was waiting for the day when a Lubavitcher Chassid would ask me to speak in my shul. And he would say to me that he's a Talmud, he's a student of Rabbi Yoel Kahn. I'm going to roll out the red carpet for him. Wow. That's Ma'aser Shehoya Kachoya. I'm telling you exactly. And that was my introduction to Ramat Beit Shemesh and Shmuel. This is now 2017, I think it was. And yeah. And now it's so many Baruch Hashem, and we have the Psura Taiva, Moshe. We finished the 4 Chalokim of Tanya. I can't say we learned every line, the Iu and Iyun, but we went slow. It took us about 2 years. And we have now the last section that Isser HaTzadik wants me to teach, which is really very Kabbalistic, and I'm going to teach it, and we will go through it as much as we understand. But this goes to Shmuel's point. And this goes to our point here, and to what you were saying before, Hillel, also about the friend and the illnesses and all the issues. You learn Chassidus. And I remember, Hillel, you said to me last year, a few years ago, you said to me something that stuck in my mind. You said, you thanked me, you said, because understanding Chassidus, there's learning Chassidus, but understanding it better when a teacher teaches you, he said it's changed his life. That's what he said. And I didn't specify how, what. Remember you saying that to me or not? I remember you saying that to me. When you learn Chassidus, and you learn Chassidus Be'iyun, you see there's learning Chassidus, cursory learning. It's learning. It's what I call couch potato learning. Okay, you lay on the couch, you take a book, and you read, and you fall asleep, and you get up. It's better than wasting time. When you learn Chassidus Be'iyun, and I always tell people, encouraging them, people I know, to come join the shir. You have an intelligent group of people, Baruch Hashem. Everyone here is educated, smart, professional, frum and Chassidish and Yerushalayim. I'm saying it's a solid group. So it's what Shmuel said, to get more people to learn Chassidus, B'chlal, and even the shir, So for Americans, it's like a little difficult, because our time is in the morning. It's a little difficult because they're middle davening. There were more people that would want to join. Velvel was not on. We should have thought of putting on a Velvel. Yeah. Dr. Velvel, we have a doctor in Cologne, Germany, who's been joining us when he's able to, right? So, Moshe
in Florida.
Moshe in Florida, right? Yeah. Well, but when he does that, he doesn't go to Dalfin, whatever.
2:45.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. But listen, it's good. He needs that, So the point is, I'm so happy to see everyone, especially David Noel, who I haven't seen in a long time. David and I, we knew each other, Shmuel, in Los Angeles. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we knew. But David, was that in the beginning of the '80s, or that was in the 1992 to '96 when I came I was a married man?
No. Yes, you were a married man.
So
then
then-
Melrose, you know.
Yeah. That was later. Anyway, so it's wonderful to see everybody. And as far as health, listen, Hillel, you know, with health, health is, we have a doctor here, you know, health. But a Mendel Futterfass had this line, listen to this line for the smart man. He said, if a person loses their money, they had money, and they lose their money, they're still a mensch. You don't lose your status as a mensch. Your money's important, but God forbid if you lose your money. Now trillions of dollars have been lost because of mamish overnight. Trillions of dollars are lost. God, Hashem will help; that'll come back. But right now, you're still a mensch. If that's number one, chas v'sholom, if a person loses their health, compromised. And Mendel said there's still a halbe mensch. Halbe means half. You're not a full mensch because your health is impacted, but you're a half of mensch. But if you lose your mut, in English, your mood, is nicht kein mensch. Always remember that. I always think about that. Every one of us has health issues. If you have your drive, you're a mensch, and you can overcome, even with illnesses. You know. Do you remember Zalman Rosenblum in the wheelchair? You know, he passed away. You heard? Yeah. We knew someone in Los Angeles named Zalman Rosenblum. You remember him? He was in a wheelchair. This guy, he was such an incredible person. Dynamic, creative, and he was confined to a wheelchair. And I don't know if he was born that way. It was mamash that we were bacher in yeshiva to learn, to look at this person. Or my daughters went to Beis Rivka. There was a girl that used to crawl. She didn't have feet. Wow. She crawled in the hallways. She's an A student. I don't know if she got married, I don't know. But she was like a star in the Beis Rivka. 2,000 students, this girl, name's Holtzman, from Canarsie, New York, Brooklyn. You know, so we have to always remember that the mut, never to lose your mut. And the same is now with Eretz Yisrael. As you have a drive, will accomplish. If God forbid the drive is gone, it's bad. Need a drive. So they should help us that we should always have a drive. And you learn Chassidus, it helps. Learning Chassidus helps the drive. Learning Chassidus, and Yudalef, if the Rebbe's Yom Haledes, is this coming Wednesday. It's my mother's yard site. So it's a day when there's opportunities for a drive in different ways. Chaim David should help that everyone should have Psudas Teibus, Begashmis, Beruchnis, Parnasa Barchava, Brias Nechoina, good health, better health, Shidduchim Toivim, and Hatzlacha with the children and grandchildren, great grandchildren, the Yiddish Nachas, and to know that when Hashem says that He's going to bring Mashiach, it's real. It's not like someone says Mashiach is going to come when hair will grow on this palm. Hair on this palm will never grow, and Mashiach will come. L'chaim. Sing this again. Ay 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 ay.